Yo, what is up, fight fans? Glow Talk Podcast. Your boy Jose here. You know what time it is. It's fight week, which means it's fight breakdown time. The main event: Arnold Almighty Allen versus the former UFC featherweight champion Max Bless Holloway. From the moment this fight was announced, I loved it. Let's dive right into it. Max Holloway, obviously one of the greatest strikers in UFC history. Guy set records for significant strikes against Calvin Kattar. I think the way that he strikes and flows is definitely up there with some of the greatest of all time, man, and he's shown it time and time again. Now, he's only been bested in the octagon by Alexander Volkanovski, Dustin Poirier, and Conor McGregor. And all of them have some of the same keys to victory that I think can benefit Arnold Allen. So let's get right into it.
The former champion thus far.
So Max trying to get a 1-2. And you see the way he sets up his feint. Stop right there. Stop right there. We'll back it up a little bit. Now, you see, going back to the beginning of the clip here, the way Max, he's throwing, but the way he throws, he's got feints into it, so changing levels with his strikes, always moving forward with the pressure. That's when he starts flowing. That's when he gets dangerous. You know he leaves his chin open. We'll stop right there. You see that he kind of puts his head out of the way enough where even though he's getting hit, it's grazing him. It's not going too hard at him. He knows what he can take and what he can't take. And what I love about his striking, if we go back a couple seconds here, as you can see from the beginning of the clip, we'll start again. You see right here, Max just changing levels. Let's stop right there. Changing levels. That beautiful little jab where he goes up top, down to the body. He's got Calvin Kattar backing up. That's what Max Holloway loves to do to his opponents. He backs him up. He keeps fighting them at distance, where even when he closes up, he's pushing you back. He's putting you in a spot where you have to take his offense whether you like it or not. You know, he leaves his chin exposed. He's so far away from you being so big and tall for the weight division that at that point, you're not really hitting him with much coming back the other way. Now, this is something where in this Calvin Kattar fight, he absolutely destroyed Calvin Kattar, always pushing him back. Even though Kattar was landing at times, it wasn't at the same level of damage as what Max Holloway was landing on Calvin Kattar. All right, so we're going to look at now Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway 2 when they fought for the interim lightweight title. As you start the clip here, you see big difference. Max is the one back against the cage. Dustin's the one putting the pressure on him. You see he's a jab from Max and boom, boom, boom. Stop right there. Just back and forth, hook, 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 over and over again from Dustin Poirier. And I think this right here shows a key in how Arnold Allen can win this fight. When Max gets pressure put on him, on guys that have power, he does not respond well. We saw this in the Conor McGregor fight. We saw this in both Dustin Poirier fights. We even saw this in the Volkanovski fight, where when you match his output and you put on the pressure more than he does, when you put on the power more than he does, he can be beaten. You see here, boom, just keeps unloading on Max here. 2 minutes left in the round and just keeps walking him down. That is something that, as we stop right here, it's a big overhand from Dustin. One thing that we don't really see much in Max's career other than the Volkanovski fights, other than the Dustin Poirier fight, other than the Conor McGregor fights that we mentioned. Max backing up. If you can get Max Holloway to back up and you can match his output and power, it's a totally different ballgame. As you saw in the Yair Rodriguez fight, Yair, I think in my opinion, he over-relied on his kicks too much. It sounds weird. You want to have a diverse game, but I think with Max Holloway, it has to be a boxing match. It has to be with the hands. And I think a guy like Arnold Allen, as we're going to see in a second, he can match the power, he can match the speed, he can match the output, the accuracy. And that's something that Max Holloway, the way he leaves his chin exposed with how he fights. Let's go back to the beginning of the clip here. So as you see, the way the exchange starts, he's back in his cage, the reset back in the middle, and Dustin's pushing him. And boom, it's just the Max's reaction, like yes, he's throwing back, but these shots are pushing him back, and he's responding negatively to them. Now, we see here, like, in that exchange, kind of a trend of how I think this fight could go down. If Arnold Allen's willing to sit in the pocket of Max Holloway, I think Arnold Allen, the way his defense is set up, whether it's his movement, whether it's his spacing, whether it's, the way he's able to absorb strikes, I think it better suits him to be in the pocket than it does Max Holloway. Max Holloway's not used to fighting guys in the pocket, guys that want to stay in the pocket with him. Arnold Allen is definitely one of those guys where, as we're going to see, bulldog that likes to stay in the pocket. So, guys, now we're going to look at Arnold Almighty Allen's fight against Dan Hooker. All right, so as you see here, stop the clip right there. So you can see he's kind of already bobbing in and out. It's kind of throwing Dan Hooker off. Guys that are light on their feet. A lot of guys will like to fight flat-footed, but I think these kind of guys that fight light on their feet, they don't step to you, they bounce you. I think it's a lot more. It's almost like a built-in feint. It's a built-in feint in a sense of these guys can throw a kick without having to wind up. These guys can throw a jab without having to wind up. It's just built into their body, that springing forward action. We see with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's a very good example of fighting light on his feet. When guys are able to fight light on their feet, it throws off their opponent, especially if you're fighting a guy that is very diverse in his strikes and has a lot of power to them. So one thing I want you guys to notice here, like he goes in there, stop right there, he throws a little leg kick and then backs out. And that's one thing you'll notice with Arnold Allen is the way he manages distance in the octagon is insanely good. He's in and out. He's in and out. Even though that shot might not mean a lot, it gets Dan Hooker thinking, okay, this guy can throw in the leg kick. I can't really counter anything about it. He's already out of the pocket. By the time I even realize that, he's got a kick, coming to me or a punch. That's how Arnold Allen sets up his offense. It's beautiful because I think to beat a guy like Max Holloway, you need to be able to have that sense of being able to go in and out. A guy that did show some semblance of that was Yair Rodriguez in terms of like a guy throwing kicks and stuff. But I think the best one that showed that was Volkanovski. Volkanovski took a lot less damage than a guy like Dustin Poirier did against Max Holloway because Volkanovski, not just because he's a smaller guy, but because Volkanovski and the way he fights so light, he was able to get in, get a shot in, and get out, in and out. And I think for Max Holloway, a guy who's always exerting pressure, to be able to fight a guy that can go side to side as well, it's definitely bad recipe for Max Holloway in his fights as we've seen. Or as you see here, that's a leg kick still staying on the outside. Dodges it and boom, rocks Dan Hooker, throws a kick and just outpouring of offense. Look at his blitz, landing every single shot. Just on point offense, throwing a knee for good measure, elbows, and there he goes, stops the fight right there. That is how scary Arnold Allen can be. You can see like he was going in, threw a leg kick, backed out, dodged Dan Hooker's jab, and the next thing you know, Dan Hooker's legs are gone. And after that, this guy is a tornado with the way he blitzes his offense. I think the last guy that Max Holloway has fought that's been able to have kind of blitz energy with offense was Dustin Poirier. And he did not react positively when Dustin Poirier was blitzing him. If Arnold Allen can catch a couple blitzes on Max Holloway, who has his chin out there when he's striking, it could be lights out for him as well. I mean, you look at Arnold Allen, it's just relentless. His cardio is so good. His movement is so good. And I think this is definitely, at this stage in his career where Max Holloway now has lost to the current champ 3 times. He's beat the interim champ once already. I think this is a very tough scenario. Arnold Allen has nothing to lose and everything to gain from this fight. Max Holloway, this right here could define whether he gets another title run or not at 145, depending on what happens. So division's getting more and more stacked as the days go by. Guys like Ilia Topuria are coming up as well. For Arnold Allen, if you can show this kind of class against Max Holloway, to be able to, put Max Holloway in a comfortable spot, to be able to put pressure on Max Holloway in a way that, we don't see that they put pressure on Max Holloway like that, he has a very good chance of winning this fight. Now, this fight, Max Holloway, still don't count him out. This guy, his striking is unmatched. It's going to be a war of a fight. Going to be a great main event. Going to be a great fight night. I think Arnold Allen, definitely a rising star, but Max Holloway, we cannot forget how good of a champ he was at 145. I can't wait to see this fight. Thank you guys for watching this breakdown. I hope you guys enjoy this fight as much as I do. I'll be tuning in on Saturday. I hope you guys do too. Don't forget to tune in on Sunday. Go out to our podcast and we break all this down.